Well, you can see it's straight through. So the new silencer has been delivered, stainless steel, 18 inches. So basically what I need to do is get this car out the way because the van is parked behind it. The garage is down the bottom. Get this car out the way, move the van onto the front of the house, front of the drive, then reverse this thing down there, address whatever sizes these are to figure out just which direction I'm going to fit them in. It's a very neatly made thing. Quite like it. I mean, it's a pity it's hidden out of sight. 2.5 inch, obviously, so it's decent size. Finishing on it's very good. You can see where they've polished the welds that obviously been done when they put this together. That's been welded up on both ends. Machine welds here. I'm assuming it's a machine that welded that. Really tidy. So yeah, 38 pounds, English pounds. I don't know if you convert that to dollars, probably around $50 for a rear silencer. I'm going to cut the other one off, use clamps, see if I can get away with using clamps to clamp this in place. I might clamp or tack an exit with a little tailpiece to the other end. But yeah, this is today's job, or a couple of jobs to be honest. There's a couple of other things I want to do. Get this thing going, get it out the way, and then get the Astro out the way, reverse this thing down the bottom, get it up onto the ramps, which are over here, get them down to the bottom, and then start cutting and either welding together bits or clamping, but I prefer the clamping idea. But I have a very faint suspicion that the silencer is going to be pleasantly, what shall I call, not noisy, but certainly that it'll have a bit more of a noise than this very civilized tone that the car has at the moment. Fingers crossed. So yeah, off we go, start working. Right, I think that's the right position. Guess next job is to start with the job. Get some lights on. And underneath here, we'll get some lights in there. Obviously, this pipe needs to be replicated to get an exit that drops in below the line. Needs to be hooked, suspended and supported. The new box is only 18 inches, the old one is 24, so I need to be extending this side so that I can still get the same exit. Saying that, it probably doesn't really matter where the exit is. What's important is hanging it off a hanger somewhere. Might have to relocate that hanger. Even if I just welded it the other way around, I could still use that same position. Right, changing the silencer from the standard to a replacement Chinese one, stainless steel, straight through. You've seen it in the introduction video already. So that's what it's going to look like. 18 inches compared to the original 24 inches. Inlet and outlet I think differs slightly, if I remember from the specification. Sound bite. Next one will be once we've cut off this silencer and removed it. This is my cheap, I can't remember what I paid for this thing, DeWalt equivalent cordless grinder. I used it a few times in anger, and I must be honest, it has so far absolutely been worth the money for having it. So let's see what happens when I start on this thing here. Actually, I'm wondering if I shouldn't start at the back and then work my way to the front. This is awkward because I'm going to get in as close as possible to save as much as possible of this little bit of pipe. There's only about that much there onto which the new silencer needs to slide to be clamped down. Could or should work. I'll start with the handle and then take it off maybe part of the way through. Now my glasses are steaming up. Let's see what happens. Bit of grubby fingers on there. Silencer out. There you go. One silencer out. Of course, the next job is going to be to test and see what this exhaust sounds like. So minus the original silencer. Right. Back to the grinder. I'm going to put a slit in there and then run this little guy through there so I can stretch that, give it a bit of a swage, hopefully enough so it'll slide over the new silencer, because the two pipes are actually the same size. Cleverly, technology reckons you should make that the female and the silencer box will be the male. So let's see what happens. Hopefully this works. I'll do this slit at an angle that I like, which will be sort of somehow that I can see what I'm doing. That should be long enough. Now, of course, the next trick is getting this little guy in here. That's the easy part, slipping that in. In fact, stick it in the hole, like that. And then, still a bit loose. Just tighten it up manually. Okay. Safety glasses. Stick this on there. Come on. There we go. All right, and make sure you're going forward. Hole's definitely stretched. That is a truly rude stretch. Okay. Don't know how much it's stretched, but let's see what we got. First of all, inside like such. Make sure I capture it right. And then we'll get on to the better. Let's see. What's this giving me now? 64-ish. Let's see. That's 66, so it's slightly out of shape. It's gone a bit oblong. Maybe I should have cut a slit there as well. I don't think it's too late, but might want a slit on both sides. See if I can get a bit of a slit in there. Let's see what happens. It's too big. hands aren't strong enough to do 3 things at the same time, which includes tapping that loose. Right, back to the bench quickly. Right, let's see what happens when we try and, if not fit, then at least see if it'll go close to fitting in there. It wants to, but it doesn't want to. That is so close. I think I need to just shove that thing in some more. Bit of excessive force might just be the answer. So yeah. Right now, that's what I've got. Bit of a tear, if you look carefully. And I stretched it on 2 sides. I can't hold this with one hand, so I'll put this down for a moment and remove that. So what I've got, 2 slots, but only one's worked. So I think the best for me to do will be to clamp something around that goes around the top of it. Section that then has a trumpet slash whatever you want to call it that's been swaged wider, maybe on a machine, and then put exhaust clamps on that. With this, I can fix that I can fix. That's easy enough to fix. Just a bit of welding, clean it up and weld it carefully on a low current. Disconnect the battery. So yeah, that's not where I wanted to be today. That's okay. Right, I don't like giving up, but today I'm sort of having to stop, basically because I've cut this, I've stretched it, torn the metal, haven't got enough play, so I'm going to have to weld a section in there that will join correctly with this, because this is 63 or 64 millimeters, and you really need something that's slightly larger to slip over there. So I'll order that off eBay, a couple of sections that are slightly stretched, and weld in and weld on what I need to weld on onto the car, onto the soft metal or mild steel, and then I will slip the stainless in to the cup on this side. That side I will probably end up ordering a 90-degree bend and a piece of straight length. Again, that's been enlarged. Yeah, for now I'm going to take this off, push it out the way. It's 3:45, something like that in the afternoon. It's not late, but I've got some other stuff that I need to deal with as well. I'm a little bit disappointed, but that's life, eh? silencer, old silencer, car that's got me beat today. But I'll give you a very quick sound of what it sounds like, minus the silencer, in race car mode. There it comes with a new silver roof. Next job will be to get the lace work done when the weather is better. The weather is a bit sucky at the minute. That's alright. There you go. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin never revs things. I would make a noise. Thanks, Kevin. Can you make it out? We don't use handbrake here. It's level. It's not going to go anywhere. Looking at it from the top, that's what you got at this moment. The roof being silver. The rest of it will get covered. When the weather is better, I'll do the lace pattern. There'll be 2 panels with some stripes around the sides. The rest of the car bonnet will be one big panel. The rear will be one big panel, and where this yellow line goes, everything above will be that color, and then the rest below will be a solid blue of some sort. So yeah, that's basically it. Gotta wait for some good weather now. Kind of frustrating because I'm impatient. See the weather out there. Not really painting weather, is it? Another wet day. Cold, miserable, raining on and off. I guess the nice thing is at least I've got a garage that I can reverse the arse into. So next job is these parts. 22 quid for that. Little 65mm connector. This 90-degree elbow was £13 delivered. Tip, I think I paid £5 for it at Wheat Fair years ago, and that was £38. So, and I bought some clamps. What do we got then? So 22. So that's 60. 73, call it 78, £80 I guess, for the complete replacement. So the next job will be to crawl in underneath there, undo the stretching, which I'd done using that little guy, because I thought I was going to be able to slip the silencer into the original pipe, but that didn't work, so I tore it, and instead I now have to weld it up because I stretched some of the metal after I'd cut it as well. But anyway, bottom line is I need to put that together quickly first, a couple of welds, run that down there, and then slip the connector over, hopefully get the box in place, and also get this end to fit over, because at the minute the slip-on isn't quite happening. So I'm assuming if I use my little handy woodwork tool, these are such nice tools, this little sander, I think I paid £5 for it at a boot fair or something like that, stupid money, but this has saved me in so many places, including the resto on the C10, which I can't wait to get going again. Obviously it's been waiting, all the parts, everything is primed, waiting for an assembly so that I can get on with the actual reassembly to make sure everything is in line. But yeah, I guess let's talk more action next. Cut the old bracket off. See no reason why not to use it again. So now I've just got to figure a way out to get it to weld on there. That's the way. On there, like that, so it'll hang. It's going to be right up against the pipe, but that's alright, as long as it's welded down. At least I've got some surface to cover that with as well. Fingers crossed we get all this shit done. Welder next, or actually double check, fit, and then weld. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm going to try and stick weld this and see if I get any kind of purchase. Look at my helmet. Fuck's sake. Last job? Well, there's never a last job, is there? There's always something to do. It's good enough. Good enough is good enough. I'd like to believe. Put some shit away so I don't fall over everything. There you go. Bracket hangs from chassis down, actually this way around. Am I talking out my ass? Yes, this way around. There we go. So that's what you got. I can't contact hanging down. Hopefully it'll do the job, keep everything where it should be. Next job, do another assembly, see if it works. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm going to try and stick weld this and see if I get any kind of purchase. Look at my helmet. Fuck's sake. Well, there my exhaust pipe's got a hole in. I can fix that. Less than ideal. Yeah, my current is quite high. Halfway. Hopefully we can get started again. Yo, push. Hello, Pedro.
Hello, Capitan.
You right?
All right.
Careful, it's hot. Welding. I put a hole. Mind your face.
Yes, yes.
This is very hot. This one.
Yes.
Yeah, my current is too high.
Tomorrow.
There's a hole, I know that.
Yeah. My tomorrow is more the...
I have.
Yes, it's very
But
good.
no, the current electricity
Yeah.
is too much. That's my problem. It's too much electricity. But yes, exactly. So I'm now repair.
Waiting for call.
Yeah. All right, Pedro. Right. I think this side is good. I'm going to tack it on the other side, but I need to undo this for starters. Right, last job. Well, there's never a last job, is there? There's always something to do. Happy with that, it's good enough. Good enough is good enough. I'd like to believe. Put some shit away so I don't fall out everything. tools. I hate leaving tools plugged in. That's it. Here you go. Bracket hangs from chassis down, actually this way around. Am I talking about my ass? Yes, this way around. There we go. So that's what you got. The contact hanging down. Hopefully it'll do the job. Keep everything where it should be. Next job. Do another assembly, see if it works. Right. Oval tip. I might redo this and cut about 2 inches off it and pull it back in a bit. I'm not happy with it the way it is, but I'm done for this today. Everything bolted together. That sleeve that I used to connect the silencer with the old pipe, not a good design. I snapped the first little bolt off because it's only tiny. Found something which isn't going to be high tensile steel or stainless, but at least it's back together. But it's a crap design. It's just not made to have real string. So what I might do is disassemble that again one more time, put a little bit of exhaust bandage around that connection, then slip it over, because the slip over is a lot bigger at 65 millimeters versus the 63.5. So it's 1.5 millimeters that has got to clamp that 2.5 inch pipe down. So it's not happening it's happening, but it's not happening as tight as I wanted. I'm sure that if you stood behind it, you'd hear it blow. Other than that, at last, happy. Hands are a bit grubby, which is always a good sign. I have about 6 boxes of gloves. I never even remember to use them. Anyway, but I'm happy with this. Let's see what it sounds like now that everything is bolted down and together. It might be nice. There's a couple of holes coming through there, and then obviously that was actually the silencer exit side. Yeah, perfect timing to replace it. Put that out on the sidewalk for the scrap guys to pick up. I'm sure they'll be happy.